Right.
look at that. I keep getting that. I've got like 4 or 5 pages now. They've got set up so you can multicast to like every place, like up to 10 Facebook accounts at a time, or pages or groups or
Right.
whatever. And so I tried that, and I've got like 4 different ones, and 3 of them work, and one of them doesn't. So
Yeah, I don't have mine going to pages yet.
yeah,
Because
at first you couldn't.
are
At
you
first,
on Kumodo International?
I'm an editor or admin or whatever you
Yeah.
call it, but I'm not broadcasting to there yet. No, because I wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I'm a
Most of the
little.
stuff, a lot of the stuff that I do is not necessarily. Although, yeah, it would be a good idea, because stuff we talk about, if we're talking about Japanese stuff, yeah, it'd be good. We should.
Yeah, we should get back into the expat thing. I really want to do
Absolutely.
that. Yeah. So at first, I guess you couldn't stream to pages, and then they added that, huh?
Yeah, or well, at least I think for a while when I first joined, you could only go to one or the other. You could either go to your profile page or a Facebook page, but not both at the same time. And now you can do that.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I've been trying it. Yeah,
Well, that's good. Yeah, I got to go ahead.
I've been checking out all these different apps. I'm gonna have to talk to you about some of these. There's Green Room. Have you heard of Green Room?
Have not. No.
Green Room is
You,
some kind of a. I think it's kind of like Clubhouse. It's audio only, I think.
okay.
And then there's Vidyard, which is kind of interesting, but that's a different thing. And then there's the one to me that's the most interesting right now is Leher.
I have heard of that. Yeah.
You've heard of Leher?
Yeah. A student mentioned that to me recently.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm surprised because that one's based in
LEH.
India.
Whoa. How do you spell it?
Leher.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have heard of that. Okay. That's interesting. I've been thinking about streaming from my website. I have a couple of websites on Wix.com.
Uh-huh.
One of which is Jeff's World English, and you can broadcast live from there too. Hey,
Hello,
Dave. Thanks,
David.
Dave Bolin. All right. Yeah. Do you know Dave Bolin, Dan?
Don't think I
He
do.
works at a nearby university. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. All right. Cool. Yeah. Great.
Cool.
But yes, I have heard of Leher, right? And I was thinking about broadcasting live, as I said, from my website, which you can do on the what is the OBS system?
Right.
Yeah, that's the only kind of platform they use there. So you have to set it up and go through that only. Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought it was pretty interesting because that would enable me to get a chance to set that up and to start using that platform too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you,
There's a few ways to do that. There's another one that's audio only. I think it's called Riffr, Riffr.
no, I haven't encountered that one. No, no.
I think that and Fireside. Have you heard of Fireside?
I have heard of Fireside. Yeah.
Yeah, that one I think is also audio only. And then
Okay. Yeah.
the last one that I was looking at is Cappuccino.
Yeah, I have heard of that one too. So are you planning on using these or are you just investigating?
I'm investigating. Leher actually sounds interesting because um, you can do video, you can have guests, you can also do audio only,
Hmm.
casts, like a live podcast type of thing, and so I thought that might be good for my layman's philosophy. Layman's
Really?
philosophy, if we talk about what the question is, or we put the question in the comments, we don't really need the video. We're not really doing anything visual with it. So I was thinking I might switch. that over to, switch my layman's philosophy broadcast over to an audio only format.
Oh, really? I see. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. I gotcha. And so you would do more game type things on Haps then?
Yeah, Haps I would, yeah, the things that Haps is good at. I mean, the interactivity is good, but also being able to uh have guests as well
Hmm.
as, being able to share your screen and all these kind of things that you can do. So, but yeah, I let her, because it does do both videos and audios. I'm kind of interested in that. I need to check it out. I just found out about that today, actually, so I'm just starting to check it out.
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds great.
How about
I'll check
Heckle?
it
Did
out
you ever get
too.
on Heckle?
No, I never did. Never did. Did you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I've been on Heckle for a couple of weeks, a week or 10 days now. Yeah.
How are you liking that?
It's interesting. I mean, it's very early. It's like still in the beta test stage. I got
Hmm.
in. I think that they've opened it up so that anyone can help beta test it now. They were doing, they were only allowing by invitation and very limited invitation. But I think he's got enough confidence in things now that he's opened it up. And it's at this point, it's a one man show developer, but it's also a one man show as far as broadcasting. You can't share your screen. It's only for iOS, so you can do it on your
Wow.
iPhone or
Okay.
your iPad, but not your Mac or your Android. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, you can, so you can go on and basically the camera's nice. You can zoom in and out, and it's got really high quality video. The audio is pretty
Hmm.
good,
Hmm.
and the lag is non-existent. I mean, around the world, and still it's like instantaneous. It's just really really nice in that regard.
Well, that sounds great. I'd like to give it a shot too.
But there's no replays.
Yeah.
No
Really?
replays.
Okay.
At this point. He's planning on adding them, but there's no replays, there's no on-camera guests, and the videos are not saved, right? So
So it doesn't stream. Does it stream live then to
it streams
somewhere?
live, but only to the Heckle platform right now because you can't
Okay.
multicast to other platforms right now.
Ah,
Yeah.
right, right, right. Yeah. I kind of like the multicasting thing. That's pretty cool, right? It's
Yep.
it's good, right? Once you get used to it. Yeah.
Yep.
Dan, look what I bought recently. Give me one sec. Look what I bought
Okay.
recently. Hang on, hang on.
What did he buy?
What did I buy? It has
God
to do
only knows.
with video. Okay, this
Video.
bad boy. Can you see that?
Oh, that's one of those whatchamacallit gimbal things.
It is. It's a gimbal. It's a smartphone gimbal, right?
Okay.
And I just bought it the other day, and I'm learning how to use it. But it's really cool. It's good for walking around, right?
Mm.
And using it to shoot, as you talk, or you can, of course, shoot your scenes. And I like doing that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like doing that a lot. So I'm going to start to get into that more. Actually, yeah, it's really cool. Very smooth,
Yeah. Yeah,
as opposed to walking
those
around
are
with
nice.
your,
But
yeah.
recently, I mean, well, yeah, our iPhones actually do a pretty good job of smoothing things out on their own. But
They
yeah,
don't do badly. You're right.
yeah, but yeah, that's definitely a level up there. The gimbal that I'm interested, or the the iPhone stand that I was interested in was the one that, um, or a camera stand that will actually follow you around, right? You
Yeah,
set
this
the
one does
tripod.
that. This one does that. This one has face recognition.
Oh,
It's got
okay,
controls on the front, as you can
okay,
see. It's you can zoom in, and you can use this for panning around. Yeah.
uh-huh,
This is the on off
okay,
power switch,
mhm,
and you can automatically record from this too.
uh-huh.
This little trigger button is really cool because you push one time and it'll do face recognition, so it will follow you around.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
Yeah, that's what you need.
yeah,
Excellent.
you need that. Yeah, you need that. I was just testing it today a little bit, right? Yesterday and today. And sometimes it gets a little funky, right? It doesn't recognize you with the mask. I learned today. So that's kind of a downer. But
You probably just broke
otherwise
it,
it's great.
with that mug of yours,
It's,
it probably, oh my God, I can't look at that anymore.
Dan, as you heard before, can you hear this? Should I turn it
I can hear that just fine. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but no, I need to get more practice with it. There's a slight learning curve.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
but this thing on here is just the stand mechanism. You can
Right.
actually disassemble that, right,
Oh,
and take
okay.
it off, and
All
this
right.
is a trigger you can use to walk around. Yeah.
Okay.
But actually,
Cool.
this is kind of cool. Yeah, this is kind of cool because it can give you an extra level of stability. Yeah, if
Right.
you're walking around, like filming something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's good. If you do the ninja walk, where you're kind of creeping around, right,
Right. Right. Yeah.
with both
Cool.
hands. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna get more into that. I'd love to
Excellent.
interview people too.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to have people, from Kumamoto,
Mm.
people I know, on HAPS, to interview them. Yeah, it's
Yep.
not a lot of people know about HAPS. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Dave
That's
Boland, I might try to get in touch with him and see if he
Yeah,
would like
there you
to.
go. That's
Yeah,
one right there. Yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking
yeah,
about that too. I've been looking around trying to find people to, on HAPS in Japan, just anywhere in Japan. I mean, yeah, Kumoto would be best, but I figured that's a pretty small population pool to be, to be
yeah.
targeting there. There you go. David's
Uh,
on board.
yeah, Dave Boland, sure, mate. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, okay, Dave, I'm going to take you up on that, man. We should definitely do that. Yeah,
No, you could bring
yeah.
him up on this broadcast for that matter,
I guess
if
I could.
if
Yeah,
you wanted
right.
to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess I definitely could. Yeah. Let me see if he wants
You,
to join us now.
yeah.
Hang on. Shoot, I messed up here.
I invited him. All you have to do is you click on his comment and choose invite out of the pop-up menu.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to ask him first, right?
Oh, well, I
Just to
mean,
see.
okay. I mean,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, no, no, no. You
I mean,
invited him. Okay,
if he
cool.
says no, that's fine, right? Yeah, that's cool. No worries.
Yeah, no, I just wrote a general comment there.
Okay, next time.
Maybe
There you go.
maybe next time. Appreciate the offer though. Yeah, cool, cool. Okay, great, excellent. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it would be great to have people from all over Japan. Sure, I know people do that,
Hmm.
right? And various, work constraints or various topics and whatnot. JJ Walsh does that,
Right.
right? She does that. She has a lot of great interviews with a lot of interesting people. That's kind of inspirational. I'd like to do something like that, right? Like
Mm.
people, like expats doing things in Kumamoto are all over Japan, right? I know
Hmm.
Kumamoto's a small area, right? So we only have a certain number of expats who are doing things, right? Uh, but like owning shops or owning restaurants, and now COVID, of course, makes that difficult.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's why, I
Uh,
thought, during COVID, a lot of people can't get out and meet new people. So I thought,
mm,
offering them kind of a virtual way to meet new people would be good. We find somebody that's interesting and interview them, and people can watch or even join in or whatever. Yeah, could
mhm,
be
mhm.
an
Definitely,
interesting
yeah.
thing to do.
Great,
Yep.
cool, cool. Yeah, it'd be really interesting. Yeah, I don't know if you can invite people to HAPS from Facebook and whatnot. I guess you can, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, the other thing you can do, is if they use another video conferencing platform such as Zoom or Skype or whatever, you can always share that application window through HAPS. So you could actually, call them up on Zoom, for example, and then
Ah,
include the Zoom window in your HAPS thing, so they wouldn't be able to read the comments, of course. You'd have to read the comments out to them. But yeah, you could get the audio
oh,
visual link that way.
Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, right. Sure, sure, sure. I guess you could. Yeah. Uh, all right. Or yeah, I guess technically there's several ways you could do that. Yeah,
Mm,
indeed. And I mean, you could have people live in your office or even in your building, right? Just joining uh, on one of your own computers, right?
yep. Yep.
Set them up with a HAPS account, and there you go, right?
Yep.
That's another possibility, sure. So good. How about Ghosts and Supernatural in Japan? Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a few. Are you aware of any ghostly places in Kumamoto, Dan?
Um, well, it, there used to be up near the bridge that goes to the Tokai's also campus,
Yes.
right up in that area
The
there,
old,
that's known as, that has a reputation, I guess.
you mean the old Ohashi?
Right, yeah. Because
Yeah.
the number of people that have jumped off of there
Right.
over
Committing
time.
suicide. Yeah.
Right. Um,
Yeah,
and then
I've
there,
heard that. I've heard that.
yeah, and then it used to be, it's gone now, but right next to there was a small, like just basically a little shed or whatever that was
Hmm.
supposedly be haunted. Right there, right across from the bridge where the bridge used to be. Yeah,
Hmm. 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 Yeah.
yeah,
My dentist's son actually went to Tokai for 2 years. He transferred, but he went to Tokai for 2 years and lived in that apartment building that used to be right as you cross the bridge on
uh
your
huh,
right.
uh huh.
I don't know if you remember that. It's gone now, but yeah, he lived in that apartment building, and he said that he used to be able to hear strange, eerie sounds coming up from that gorge down there under the bridge.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's his own imagination or not, hey, who knows? But
Well, I
interesting,
mean,
huh?
I think it's likely that he heard something. I mean, I would probably
Mhm.
come up with a different explanation than he did, but yeah, I'm sure he's heard something.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah,
you heard something. I don't know if it was howls or screams in the night.
yeah.
Uh, but he heard something. I think it's what he said. There's a battlefield here for anyone who knows Kumamoto, Taburuzaka Battlefield. Yes, north of Kumamoto City in Ueki. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I've been told from several people actually that they've had very strange and bad encounters there.
Yeah,
How
I've
about you,
been.
Dan?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's between Kumamoto and Tamana where I used to live, right? So I used to drive by, I mean, not right by there, but I used to drive, through that area all the time, and I did stop by there and look around, but it was during the daytime, so I don't know what it's like at night. But during the daytime, it was just another place. I didn't get any particular vibes there, but nighttime might be different.
Yeah, I mean, it's the story, of course, of the largest Satsuma rebellion, yeah, back in
Right.
the 1700s, yeah, early 1800s. The last samurai battlefield with Saigo Takamori, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, so it achieved kind of a reputation from that era, right? And
Hmm.
everybody knows it from that area. It's an interesting place. I've been there too. I drove up there on my motorcycle one day,
Hmm.
and I actually took my iPhone and just recorded audio to see if I can get any EVPs.
Right.
You know what EVPs are?
Um.
Uh, Electronic voice phenomena, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Right, right. To see if I could record any ghostly sounds and whatnot,
Yeah.
or strange audio nuances. But no, nothing
Nothing.
at all. Right,
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing at all. I didn't feel anything strange either. Right. Of course, it was a beautiful day when I went, and I was just relaxed and just happy to be there.
Hmm.
So I had no preconceived knowledge or preconceived feelings of what I would experience. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think that might have something to do with it too. If you have a preconception of what you're going to experience, right? Do you think that has something to
Well,
do with
absolutely. Yeah. So,
these
the
things? Yeah.
stories, those stories that, about places that have, have a known history, and then people claim
Hmm.
to have some kind of experiences there. Those I more or less discount as, the influence of the background story, influencing people's, experiences. It's the ones that, the history is forgotten, or is unknown, at least unknown to the majority of the people, and then people have some, a large number of unconnected experiences happen, and then they find out later, they do research and find out that was something. Now those are the ones that are more interesting to me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Right. No, I got you. I got you definitely on that one. Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah.
Mm.
And I think that does have something to do with it, the preconception, of course, right? And as I just said a little earlier, right? Let me try to get this slide up there. Uh, Try to get it bigger here. Uh, how do I do that? Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Huh? Okay. Yeah. My student, one of my students, when I was teaching at a small English language school here a long time ago, maybe 20 years ago, had a terrible encounter. He felt very scared. Of course, he went during the night, felt like he was being watched, and he felt it was very ominous. Yeah. So he
Hmm.
had some really just horrible feelings about the place and just refused to go there, right, from then on. Now, what do you think caused that, Dan? Was that his preconception or his feeling, or do you think he really kind of felt something
um
ominous, something negative? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, people get all kinds of, you know strange feelings, the premonition type of feelings and so on. And I mean, I'm too much of a science guy to buy into that very much. I'm always looking for some other explanation. So I mean, it's not that the feelings aren't real, but it's just, the source that I question.
And you're right. And it might not be that it's not like he didn't see something, right,
Mm,
or
mm,
feel something or experience something, right? But
mm,
what is that
mm.
that he experienced? Yeah, sure, of
Yeah,
course. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
It's just like these people, these the people that listen to records backwards and say, "Oh, here, listen, it's saying Paul is dead, Paul is dead," whatever. I mean, yeah, if you have that suggestion in your mind when you listen to those things, then you can hear that, right? But if you don't have any preconceived notion of what those sounds are, it's very unlikely that you'll come up with that particular interpretation of those noises. So yeah, so people that have a tendency to explain things through supernatural causes or whatever, or and so on, they're more likely to interpret the source of those premonitions, of the sort, reinterpret those inputs as something supernatural, and I'm just don't tend to do that.
yeah. There's an interesting. My dad was kind of into the ghosts and supernatural. He was a scientist too, but in his later days after retirement, he kind of got really into like ghosts and supernatural and stuff, right? And he was into this guy who researches reverse speech, like you were just talking about. Yeah, a guy from Australia. Uh, Gosh, what was his name? I forget his name right now. But he played things backwards and would find these kinds of uh, things that people said backwards, right? And he
Hmm.
would kind of extrapolate that into what he thought these people were saying, right?
Hmm.
It sort of matches, but sort of doesn't, right?
Right.
Gosh, I should have gotten some of this ready for today. I wasn't really thinking about him, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he had some of these things that he would play, right? And first backwards, right? And then he would have to tell everyone what it said, because if he just played it backwards, a little segment, for example, it's very hard to discern
Yep.
that it
I-
actually said what he says it says. Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but just yesterday or the day before, I was listening to something, and some guy was playing a recording, and you know, and when he played it first without any kind of background story or anything, he just played it, and you know, it sounded like some
Yes.
weird noises, but I couldn't make anything out. And then he wrote, then text was displayed on the screen while the same segment of recording was played, and you could, you know, as you followed along, you could actually hear the words spoken then, you know. So if you knew what you were listening for, then you could hear it. But
Right.
just, you know,
Well,
just
exactly
the
right.
sounds, you couldn't find it.
Yeah, and Dave Bolin just said it. David Oates, that's it, exactly. That's the
Okay.
guy's name. I think he's Australian, right, Dave? But yeah, yes, that's exactly who I was thinking of. And my dad was into him for a long time, and he knew I was an English teacher and into audio and stuff, so he gave me these tapes of David Oates, right, back in the cassette tape days, right? And that for, you know, as much as I wanted to get into it, yeah, and believe it and start kind of even researching it, yeah, a little bit, because my dad was kind of like, well, why don't you research that? That's interesting. Right? It's audio, it's, you know, reverse speech. Hey, maybe there's something there, you know? Yeah, I think it's interesting. And you know, I tried a couple of things to play it backwards and listen to what people were saying, just because you can do that now. There's an app for reverse speech, right? You can record something and play it backwards. And, you know, you try to find something in it. It's very difficult.
Yep.
To just pull something out, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it was kind of hard to connect the two, you know. Unfortunately, as much as I wanted to get into it and try to work with it. Maybe I'll try again with you, Dan. I'll play some of your speech backwards, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe you'll say something like, "I am the devil."
Yeah, maybe I might say that forwards. Who knows? You know.
And I curse Jeff Morrow. Oh my God.
Oh,
jeez, no, Dan.
You're hitting a little too close
no.
to the truth there. Now, come on now.
Hey, now, come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as you were just saying, if you read it, if you know what you're listening for while you listen, yeah, absolutely. You can pick it out. You can kind of hear it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what the guy did a lot too. Sure. Right.
So how about you, Jeff? What do you know about ghosts or you know, supernatural creatures, especially in the Kumamoto area?
All right. Well, I've heard some stories. Oops, sorry, I went too far. This one is an interesting one. The Kumamoto University jogger. Are you familiar with her?
No.
With this story? Let me try to get this bigger. Dan, let's see. How do I?
Just click on the number one. No, just click on the number one. Oh, okay.
Is that? Oh, really?
Yeah. Number one. There you go, and that'll put it up in the middle.
Oh, in the blue box then, huh?
Right. Yeah.
Ah, right. Okay. I see. Yeah. Great. And yes. I'm going to take us off of here so I can show this. Whoa. Sorry. This is okay. It's all happening a bit too fast. All right. Okay. Female jogger was hit by lightning while jogging on the Kumamoto University jogging track there. You never heard this?
No.
Right. It happened at the running track of Kumamoto University from the Faculty of Letters campus, the North Campus. Right. She was running and jogging. You know, not really in a lightning storm, but there was heat lightning apparently on that day, and struck her, and she died. Right.
Wow.
This was years ago. This was, I believe, it was the 1960s. Yes. Or 70s, was it? Right. And it is said that you can sometimes hear her scream, right, when you go there when you're running on the running track. Now,
you said
I've never been there.
When?
60s or 70s, maybe, was it?
In the 70s? Okay. All
Or it
right.
could be later.
Hmm. Interesting.
But yes, around there. So it was quite a while ago.
Okay.
But some people claim that they can hear her scream. They can hear her in agony as they run around the
Interesting.
track following her footsteps.
Hmm.
What do you think about that?
Um, what do I, yeah, I mean that's interesting. Actually,
Hmm.
I hadn't heard that story before. Yeah, that's interesting. Again,
Yeah, isn't it?
yeah. Again, that's a that's a story that then afterwards people in the area, the people that are familiar with that event are the ones that are hearing these things. So again, I think it's I explain it as another case of tainted evidence there. They're interpreting whatever they're hearing in light of what they already know about that location. So
Yeah,
yeah.
sure, of course. And if you hear that story, maybe you're more prone to listen for and even perhaps hear something. Yeah,
Mm.
if you go there, right?
I think for me it'd be more interesting, if they take a group of people that are unfamiliar with the story and uh, have them say, here, jog around and just let us know if you hear anything unusual. No, don't give them anything more than that. So they might be listening, to take note of strange sounds or something like that, but don't color your description with anything that indicates that it's a female, that indicates that it's a voice that they might hear. Just and then I'd be curious to see if how many people without any preconception of what they're supposed to be hearing actually hear something.
Yeah, indeed. That would be the thing to do, wouldn't it? Yeah,
Mm,
that would be a good experiment.
yeah.
So when are you going to start that experiment, Dan?
Yeah, well, I gotta find some people that don't know anything about the story, right? So
Yeah,
I have to find
that's the
people that
hard
aren't
part.
watching your haps. If they're watching your haps, now they know about it. So we just
Now they
float
know
them.
about it. But still, well, I mean, it would be interesting to go over there, right? Still, anyway, right? Even if you know about it, it would still be kind of interesting to go over and see if
Yeah,
there
it
is
would.
anything to it,
It
right?
would. Yeah,
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 right. Uh-huh. I'm
yeah,
not expecting to hear anything, right?
yeah.
But you never know.
I'd kind of be expecting to hear something, but not a woman's voice, not a scream or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Mm,
Indeed.
mm,
Uh, yeah. That's an interesting one that sticks in my mind. Yeah. Well, I didn't make a PowerPoint slide for it, but my wife said when her grandmother was young, uh, to get from place to place, and maybe it's her when her grandmother was young and she went to her great grandmother's home back and forth from school to her grandmother's house, great grandmother's house, right?
mhm,
One time, to get places, you had to walk back in those days, right?
mhm,
And this is maybe 1930s or 40s, right? You had to basically walk. The transportation was few and far between in Japan at those times, right?
mhm.
So she one time got caught in a rainstorm and there was flooding and she had to swim to her house. Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, she had to swim to her house. And one time she was coming home and she saw, what was it? She saw a very strange woman in the front door of her house that wasn't her great grandmother. Yeah,
Mm.
just just this very bizarre woman standing in where her great grandmother should have been. Yeah. Uh, so I'll have to follow up on that story. I can't remember
Interesting.
exactly what.
Yeah.
Yeah. So things like this. This is one. Whoops, sorry. This is one that ghosts in the power line. This is one actually from Kumamoto
Uh-huh.
that a student told me that she kind of said she was introduced and met uh, ghosts in the power lines near her house, right? She kind of made friends with these ghosts in the power lines, and she could hear voices coming from the power lines. but she sort of made friends with them, but they were actually taunting her a lot, and she had some horrible, ominous feelings about these ghosts, and they haunted her wherever she went. Yeah.
Huh.
This one to me was kind of very strange and kind of
In the
horrific,
power
actually. Yeah.
lines. Interesting.
The
Yeah.
power lines. Yeah, that was interesting, right? And this was in the 1990s too, so not
Wow.
that long ago.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, very interesting. So,
Yeah,
I thought, my
that was
gosh, okay.
intriguing to me because it sounds like, she's not telling the story about why there would be ghosts in the power lines there or whatever. It's like she doesn't have this background story that, that's going to influence her, and yet she believed that she encountered ghosts in the power lines, that they followed her. So yeah, that's very interesting. I like those stories.
Yeah, me too. That intrigued me also, very, very much so. Yes, exactly. She said, they weren't ominous at first, and so she made friends with them. She used to be able to hear them talk to her and communicate with her, but then it was too much, almost, right?
Mm,
And she couldn't not hear them wherever she went, because
wow.
power lines are basically everywhere. Yeah, so wherever
Okay.
she went, she heard ghosts in the power lines. Yeah, a little freaky,
Okay.
huh? Yeah, my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. This was actually during an English conversation class too. She revealed
Hmm.
this to just several other students.
Interesting.
Uh, yeah,
Little
yes, indeed.
little schizophrenia kicking in there. Oh, yeah, I got ghosts following
Yeah,
me in the power lines,
got
or
ghosts following me from the power lines. They're talking to me from the power lines.
yeah.
Yeah, oh my gosh,
I was
yeah,
just trying to be
wow. So
friendly, and
you
here
never
they
know.
are following me around. It's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Just trying to be friendly, and here they are haunting me wherever I go. Yeah, again, these kinds of things, we're kind of too much into uh, research and looking at things, right, with meaning, and so sometimes it's hard to wrap your head around these kinds of encounters, right?
Hmm.
Being kind of into research,
Yeah, but this
looking
is
for
yeah,
factual things
yeah, but that's
and
interesting.
more
This is a
scientific
girl that you
basis.
actually knew. This is a student of yours.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
student,
yeah,
yes, a student
yeah,
of mine.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, a relatively
Well,
young person, doesn't sound like they
yeah.
had a lot of background knowledge to influence them, and yet, having fairly strong feelings, beliefs about, the sources of these, whatever feelings she has, attributing them to ghosts and so on. Very interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It is very interesting. Yes, exactly. And I tried to ask her, where does she think these first encounters originated, like how and why and where, right? She couldn't answer that, actually. Yeah,
Mm,
there was nothing strange that happened to her that would perhaps, force these kinds of experiences on her, right?
yeah.
It just kind of sprung up and happened,
Yeah.
uh, when she least expected them, and
Mm.
followed her around too for the better part of her life, right?
Hmm.
So, which was kind of like, right, maybe you should, right, try to work on that with a therapist or something, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But I believed her, though, because she
Oh.
was so adamant about it. Absolutely, she
Yeah.
was experiencing something, right?
Yeah.
And this
Definitely
is the
experienced
interesting
something.
part.
Uh,
Hmm. She was experiencing something, right? Yeah. Uh, yeah, and she was really actually excited to talk about it,
hmm.
and I got the feeling that she wasn't able to talk about it before that.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so these are just kind of things that, right, happen to people that maybe they need an outlet. They need to discuss it,
Yeah.
and hopefully it helped her to discuss it.
Right. Yeah.
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 Hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure we both had those kind of cases where it's an English class or conversation class, especially private lessons, or adult small group lessons or something like that, and people will uh, talk about topics that are quite surprising. It's, and like you said, it seems like they need an outlet, to For some reason, they feel that talking about it in English is somehow safer than if they would give the same revelation in Japanese. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, right. And also, in the English class environment, right,
Mhm.
too. Maybe they feel, the English teacher will be more open to these kinds of things, right? And
Yeah.
whereas in her own societal realm, right, maybe it wouldn't be as accepted, and maybe she couldn't talk about it at all, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
no, exactly. Right. How about you, Dan? Any encounters or any friends or students of yours with any of these kind of encounters?
No, man, like I
Yeah,
said, I'm the one that explains things away by science. I have told you my
sure.
ghost. I have told you my own ghost story though, haven't I?
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
No,
Yeah.
no, yeah, I don't
So,
think so.
so this was, I don't know, it was probably 15 years ago, something like it, maybe 20 years ago, and I was uh, I was in my bed and sleeping, and I was having a
Okay.
dream. And I don't remember a lot about this dream, but I remember at the end of the dream, for some reason, I was being chased by a young boy that, probably about 10-year-old boy for some reason. I don't know why. Uh, I remember I wasn't terribly scared, but for some reason I was running away, and this young boy was coming after me in this dream,
Hmm.
right? And I fell over onto my stomach, onto my face, right? And I was about to turn back and look to see how close the boy had come to me, and that's when I woke up. Right, I'd fallen down on my face, and that's when I woke up. And so after just coming awake, I
Hmm.
was still remembering the dream very vividly. And of course, I was on my stomach, which was the same position that I was in the dream, right? And when I was sleeping on my stomach, which I don't usually do, but for some reason I was then. I was sleeping on my stomach,
Right.
and I woke up and I turned back, and at the foot of my bed, just past my feet, I could make out the vague outline of a 10-year-old boy who was standing over me, with like his hands crossed, looking over me, looking at me, right, at the foot of my bed,
Wow.
right. And I thought,
Dude,
wow,
wow. No,
this is
I
this is
hadn't
pretty
heard that
freaky,
one.
but I thought, wow, what is this? And I said, oh, I got to figure this out. So I, got myself up, on my hands and knees, and turned around and reached down to the end of the bed, and I stuck my hand out, and I touched the electric fan that was at the foot of the bed, because it was summertime and it was hot and the fan was blowing on me. And in the darkness, the shape of the fan,
Uh,
I had envisioned that as the boy standing with his arms crossed, bending over me. And in the
right.
darkness, I interpreted that, after waking up from this dream, as being the young boy standing at the foot of my bed, right? So that's my
Okay.
explanation for all ghosts, is that in the dark, because people only see them in the dark or out of the corner of their eye or whatever, so I always think it's just a misinterpretation of data, by our
Hmm.
brains for whatever reason. So yeah.
Yeah, in your case, that makes sense and is totally there, right? Yeah.
Mm.
Had there not been a fan there, no, that would have been freaky, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
still, it might have been just a figment of your
But
imagination.
see, that's kind of my point, is that most people, they see a ghost and they don't walk toward it and go check it out. They're like, they're going the other way. Say, oh shit, I'm getting out of here. Here comes, there's a ghost over there, right? Or I mean,
Yeah, but yours was so close to your bed, I'm sure.
but I mean,
Uh,
but how many
you,
people? I
you
mean, I
you
think
would
most
have.
people would have probably laid back down and covered their heads and said, "Oh my god, a ghost," or whatever. I mean,
Yeah, maybe,
most
maybe,
people are not
maybe.
going to go and check out a ghost, right? But me, I'm like, I'm going to check it out, right? And when I did check it out, I found out
Yeah,
there was an explanation.
sure. There are those stories though where people do check it out and there's like nothing there.
Right? Yeah, there's nothing there. Yeah,
Did I
which
tell you my story?
no.
Not in Japan,
Mm.
but this was years ago when I was living in New York. I was a student. It was the doorknob story. Did I tell you that?
The doorknob story sounds familiar, but tell me again.
I may have told. I remember telling that to someone recently. Yeah, I was in my apartment right in New York. I was going to school at that time, and I was in my apartment. I shared an apartment with two other guys, and then it was a three-bedroom apartment, and I was there by myself that night. It was a nighttime, and I had eaten dinner, and I was reading on my bed, and the windows were open. It was summertime, and I looked down. We had doorknobs, right, in those days, brass doorknobs, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I glanced toward the doorknob, and there was light reflecting off of the doorknob, right? The light in my bedroom kind of was reflecting off the doorknob, but in such a way that it looked like it was turning.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, you can kind of see the reflection as it's turning, right?
Right.
Kind of going little bit, right? And the light's reflecting and kind of a little bit jiggling back and forth. And I thought, my gosh, what's that? That's weird.
Hmm.
And I said, that's my imagination,
Right.
and I blew it off. I went back to reading and, looked again, and the doorknobs again, right? Reflecting on there, turning. And, nothing, no mind altering substances or alcohol that night, which might explain it. But no, I
Oh.
was just reading. Yeah. Just studying basically, right? And reading, and looked at this doorknob, and yeah, it kept
No,
going.
no
I
alcohol
got
that
up.
no alcohol that night.
No alcohol that night. No, I was
Oh,
young
there's
then,
the
so.
explanation. You were going through the DTs there. I mean.
That's the explanation. That's why, man.
Well,
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It was weird. I don't know, why I saw that, but I walked up closer and closer to it, and yeah, I mean, I could have sworn that it was moving, right? Turning, right?
Yeah.
And I got closer, and I grabbed the doorknob and opened the door, and yeah, nothing was there.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, somebody trying to get in or what?
Yeah.
I was the only one there, and I could have sworn I saw it moving. Grabbed it, and yeah, no one was there. So now I don't know why that was happening. Yeah, it's just very strange. I still can't explain that one.
Well, I mean, it's I
It's just
believe
maybe it
that
was
I mean,
the light, or
our brains are very complicated, and sometimes
Mhm.
things, those synapses, the chemicals misfire or whatever. Hey, Sweet Pea, welcome.
Hey, sweet pea.
So I remember, I can't remember what I was like doing something mundane like washing my hands or washing something in the sink, and sometimes I was washing something, a little bit of water splashed out and fell onto my foot, and I was sure
Oh wow.
that what
Go ahead. Yeah. Wow.
uh,
I just said.
I was sure that my foot was wet. I felt the water hit my foot, right? But
Okay.
for some reason, I had forgotten that this was in America. This is years ago. This is in America. I forgot, and I was wearing shoes, so my foot could absolutely not have felt any of the moisture. It wasn't like I drenched my foot, or something like that. But it was just the juxtaposition of the timing of the water falling, and maybe I did feel some pressure of the water drop hitting the top of my foot, and so that input also. But I actually believed that I felt wetness of the water on my foot when I absolutely could not have. There wasn't enough water to soak through the shoe to wet it, right? And that wouldn't have been
Wow.
instantaneous anyway. So again, that's this misinterpretation of the data in my mind, and that's what I absolutely believe every single ghost sighting has been.
Yeah, I think that absolutely was my case too, right? It was a
Mm,
misinterpretation, right, of my brain. Synapses were kind of not connecting correctly that night. Yeah, and I saw what I saw, and yeah, obviously there was nothing there, right?
mhm.
But yeah, my brain created that, which was interesting, right?
What do you
And in
think
your
about
case too, that's very interesting. Yeah.
what do you think about? They always hold it up as evidence for for something supernatural or whatever, but people who take photographs and they don't see whatever it is, with their eyes, but later they see it in the photograph. And that's like evidence for the supernatural, right? I took this photograph of my girlfriend, standing on the beach. And then, there's a head, sticking up from behind her in the photograph, right? So, and there was nobody there. So obviously that must have been a ghost or something. That just seems really
Yeah.
strange to me, because photographs basically just record light, and our eyes, can see light. So if it was, anything that the camera could see, why couldn't we see it too? I mean, it just, that explanation never made sense to me.
Yeah, that's very strange too. But I mean, in the case of film, right? Couldn't it be like a film defect or something
Exactly.
getting
See,
onto the
that's my
actual
point. That's
film?
what I
Yeah,
think. But they
yeah,
look at it,
exactly.
and
Right.
say,
Yeah.
"Oh, it looks exactly like, the face of
Ah,
somebody, or whatever." I mean, it's,
right, right, sure.
and they,
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely. Yeah, I've been in cases where I've taken pictures and all these blue bubbles have shown up. One time, I guess we were in Egypt. Yeah, I was in Alexandria, and we went down to these catacombs, right, in Egypt, and I took photos, right, and these orbs, what they call orbs, right, these
Mhm,
blue balls started showing up on the film, right, and this was a digital camera, right,
mhm, mhm,
and that absolutely has to do with some lighting effect, dust in the air. Yeah,
mhm.
nothing supernatural,
Right, right.
at all.
Yeah,
Right. So that never freaked me out. But yeah, like you said, I mean, this does freak some people out, right?
yeah,
Some
yeah.
people kind of really read into that a lot. Yeah.
I've always,
Like you.
I've been to a few places, like, the also, the bridge there and different places, and I've never
Hmm.
seen or heard anything that I couldn't explain by something, some natural sound or sight or whatever. But there are a lot of, there are
Hmm.
places that are you know worldwide, widely known or widely believed to be locations of a lot of supernatural activity or whatever, where,
Hmm.
innumerable people, have gone there and had all kinds of experiences. I've never been to a place like that was really, supposedly legitimately active like that. I've always been very interested, like houses where, the owner, buys the house, and then, then they die in the house, within a year or something like that, or whatever. Even if they sell the
Yeah.
house,
Like,
a year later they're dead or
yeah.
something, like, yeah,
Now, how about
I'd
these?
like to check that out, because
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I just cannot believe it.
Yeah. How about these infamously haunted places like hotels or
Right.
buildings either
Yeah.
in America or in Japan? I've never been to one of those places either, but yeah, I tend to think that I'm not going to feel anything, right, or experience anything
Yeah. Yeah.
in these
I mean, it
places.
could just be that I'm just not sensitive, whatever that sixth sense is, I just don't have it. And so, but maybe that's my greatest weapon against these things, is that they can't get a hold on me, because I don't know it.
Yeah, I think right. You're not sensitive, but you're not opening yourself to that sensitivity. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like you're
Right.
kind of you're not relinquishing yourself
Right.
to feel that, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so then you don't. And I'm that way too, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure some people like open their mind completely, or they want to experience things, right? And
What
this kind of helps them kind of, right?
totally different, but tangentially related. So, pakchi, coriander. Do you like it in
Yes,
your food?
I do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just had some today,
Right.
actually. Yeah,
Now that's a
I
food.
grow it in my office.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, what else are you
Yeah.
growing in your office there? No, that's another
The
subject. But anyway,
basil.
um,
That's
but
all. Basil.
yeah, okay. But I've heard that. I think a friend of my colleague at the university there was saying that the reason that some people hate it is because they genetically they pick up on some aroma that others of us, just that gene is switched off in us, and we aren't aware of that. This repugnant aspect, or flavor or aroma in coriander that we aren't aware of, so we're okay with it. Whereas people that are aware of it are turned off to it. They hate it, right?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I guess so. That's true, isn't it? Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're able to eat foods with coriander in them without any problems, right? But for example, my wife, if coriander's in there, she doesn't want anything to do with it. That turns her off right
Yeah.
there.
Right. Coriander is kind of a strong taste, though, too, don't you think? I mean,
Mm,
it's sort of an acquired taste, almost, sort of. Nah. Right.
maybe,
It's
yeah,
it's
maybe.
it's hard to kind of get used to, maybe.
Mm,
Right. But you're absolutely right. I mean,
yeah.
some people might
But
not
so,
like
so
that.
I think my perception of the supernatural that switch is also off. I'm oblivious to anything
Yeah.
supernatural.
There you go. You're oblivious. Yes,
you know,
right. So again, you're not relinquishing yourself to having that experience. I mean,
yeah.
and it's not easy to do that. I mean, to try
Mm,
to right, maybe like relinquish yourself in that much, right?
mm.
At that time. So let's go on to this next one here.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. What are ghosts? Yeah, let me
What are
bring
go-
this up here. Yeah.
I
Uh, right. Yeah. Uh, I'm, there's a, a lot of people who feel there are different things, right? Are they bleed through of entities from another universe or other universes, right? Or leftover souls that couldn't escape Earth. What do you think, Dan? What are people seeing, or
well, I
not
mean,
even ghosts, just entities or these experiences? Yeah.
right. Yeah. I mean, I think, some of them, like I said, are just misinterpretations of data, in our, misinterpreted by our brains as part of it. But, the things where there's, maybe more evidence that something is happening in those cases, I would say it's probably I mean, it is a fact that our senses are limited. I mean, the part of the light spectrum that we are able to observe is a very narrow band of the electromagnetic spectrum there, right? And other animals and so on are can observe different parts of the same spectrum, right? And so I mean,
Hmm.
and that's just light that we're aware of. There may be other energy forms, other things that we simply don't have the hardware to even be aware of them normally. And somehow something, like I said, most things are on a spectrum, right? Everything's on a spectrum. I mean, I'm on a spectrum, right? I'm on the spectrum. You didn't know that, did you? But anyway, so all these things are on a spectrum, and sometimes maybe they cross over or get close to the point where we are aware of them, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But most of the time it's on the end of the spectrum that we simply aren't aware of. So I mean, there's so much that we don't know, that I think just physically we can't ever measure, we can't be aware of. The
Right.
machines that we've come up with that allow us to example see into the infrared, right? So that we can see heat in the way that we think that snakes and so on can use infrared to find their prey and so on. So we're able to manipulate some things so that we can actually see into the infrared spectrum. But that's
Hmm.
only
Hmm.
because we're aware that it's there, right? We know that snakes
Yeah.
are seeing that, and so we can extrapolate beyond that, and so we're able to do that. But things that we just don't know about, we got no hook to even start, and so that's what I think it is. It's just something that is there and it's natural, but we
Hmm.
simply don't have the hook to be able to really get a firm grasp
No,
on observing it.
I agree. We're not in that we're not in that realm. We don't have the capability to grasp exactly what it is. It could be bleed through from another universe. Who knows? I mean, it could be leftover souls. We don't really know. You're right.
Well, I mean, to me, no,
And
I mean,
we.
those are all kind of, out there kind of things, another universe. No, I think it's, no, my interpretation, I'm sorry, what I meant to say was that it's a natural part of our universe. It's just that
Mhm.
we aren't equipped to be able to observe it the way we can light and sound
So we don't
and so
really
on.
know, right? We can't fathom then exactly what it is. But you're
Exactly.
saying
Right.
that there. right?
Yeah.
You're saying, and we, I think we should say that there is something there, but we just can't grasp it.
Right. Right. It
We
doesn't it
just
doesn't
don't have
need
the
to be
capabilities. Yeah.
otherworldly, from another universe. It doesn't need to be that. It doesn't need to be leftover souls. It can be something that
Hmm, hmm.
is just here naturally, and we just don't have
Here
quite the
naturally.
right tools to be able to really firmly grasp on and observe it, you know. So, yeah.
That's right. Do you think we will ever
I
have
mean,
those tools?
I think that kind of depends on whether there's any kind of evolutionary, evolutionary advantage to becoming able to be aware of those things. If there's no advantage to it, then why should our genome, mutate and adopt? That wouldn't be selected for, right? I mean, I'm a firm
Hmm,
believer in
hmm.
evolution, right? And I think that we see what we see because this is the most beneficial spectrum, gives us enough information, and so on and so on and so forth. So it seems to me that after this many tens of thousands of years, we haven't developed we haven't found a need for it. Maybe we never will. And so, and if we never have a need for it, then we'll never develop that sense, right?
Yeah. No, I think you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely right.
Mm.
And I tend to think like if the evolutionarily, if it's not beneficial for us, right, we'll never be able to discern what these things actually are. And then why even worry about it, right?
Right.
I tend
Right.
to go to that direction. Why
Yep.
worry about it?
Yeah.
Uh, and why freak out? Why study it then too, right?
Mm. Mm.
It's interesting speculation and fun talk.
Yeah, it is.
Uh, it is, but I think that's kind of where it ends almost. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh-huh. Are you going to bring up some other slide, Dan?
Do you know this?
No, I don't think so. No, no.
You're not familiar with this.
Can you put it on the whole screen?
Oops. Whoops.
Isn't that Yamamba? Isn't that
No.
Yamamba? No.
No, this is known as Amabi.
Amabi. Okay. Wow.
Amabie? Amabi?
Amabi. Maybe Amabi, right? If it's in Japan.
All right.
It's popular now that the virus is here. Is that what it said? Spread
A
a
kind
immune
of
spread of new
yokai or
coronavirus.
ghost. Yeah.
Might be a yokai. Okay, right. Which is believed to have the power to ward off pestilence, is proving popular on Twitter. Wow. No, I didn't know that. Okay, right. Oh,
Yeah. So a
people are,
legend says that the
yeah.
mermaid-like yokai emerged from the sea off the Higo domain, now Kumamoto Prefecture, right? So this is another prefectural thing here.
Yeah, great. That's cool.
That's what I thought you might have known about. Yeah, this yokai, from Kumamoto here.
Never got that one. Yeah,
So
no,
yeah,
no. But yokai are cool. I'm aware of yokai for sure.
right. Yeah. So
Just
emerged
not
from
that
the sea and
particular
said,
one. Yeah.
"You'll have
Oh.
good harvest for the next 6 years. And in the event of a plague, draw a picture of me and show them to people." Right. So
Right. Gotcha.
it's a charm to fend
That's
off the
why
plague.
people are doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why people are doing that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to look into that more too, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I thought this was. Yeah. I thought this. I had expected
That's
you. Yeah. You might know that, but I guess. Yeah. It's
yeah, I should
a
have
long time
no
ago. Definitely a long, long time ago. Yeah.
long time ago, but it's making a resurgence in the COVID time, isn't it?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Which is interesting in
Mm.
itself. Yeah, I'll have to research that more. Yeah, cool, excellent.
Yeah. How about oh, this is another. Let me get it here. Set this up here.
Yeah, thanks for looking for those, Dan. That's great. Yeah, cool.
Chasing the Ghost of Musashi.
All right. Yeah. There you go. Very timely.
Yep. Yeah.
Very appropriate.
Oh, where'd it go? Lost my window here. Just a second.
I think we should try to find him, Dan.
Yep. There you go. Let's
go on a Musashi ghost hunt.
Yeah. There you go. So in the spring of 1645, right?
Mm.
Man was dying. He sensed his time was near. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that was Miyamoto Musashi.
Miyamoto Musashi, yeah. Wow, excellent. Mm-hmm.
So this, this little story here. In fact, I can copy and paste the link if anybody's interested in this. Should be able to find it anywhere.
Yeah,
on the internet. It's kind of an interesting story about one of the famous ancient personalities here in Kumamoto, and this is kind of an interesting angle of the castle wall here. The wall up to the castle.
It is.
Yeah,
really is. I know that angle. I know that corner.
Yeah.
Sure, everyone does. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so
wonder
this guy's talking about it.
Wonder how the spirit's doing after the earthquake.
Yeah, I don't know. They must have gotten shaken up a bit too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Excellent.
so this guy's all this reading about this, talking about it. And near the end, I saw I stood silently in front of Musashi's grave, and for a brief moment felt that the great chasm of time separating us had dissipated.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's the link there. So check it out. If you haven't read this story in the Japan Times, it's kind of interesting.
Thank you. Yeah, I hadn't read that. No. But yeah, excellent. Great. Wow. Wonderful. Yeah. That was really all I had today there, Dan. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's good enough then.
That's good. It's good enough, I guess, huh? Yeah, sure.
I should have.
Ghosts and Supernatural, right? I think is a good touch upon the topic. You had some interesting information there, Dan. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ghosts of Musashi, and the Amabie.
Yeah,
I guess that's how it would be pronounced.
Yeah, I can share that link too in case anybody's interested.
That would be great. Now, do these links stay up after we finish?
I think so. They're part of the comments, and so they, if people scroll through the comments, they should be able to find it. And it sounds like we're winding down, so these will be at the end, so they should be pretty easy to find, I would think.
Yeah. Great, excellent. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, it's popular in Japan amid virus crisis. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay,
all right. Well, Dan, we're going to go Musashi ghost hunting.
There you go. Yeah.
If anyone wants to come along, let us know.
Yeah. So where should we start? Start at the castle, or start at Musashi Gaoka, or shall we start at our favorite bar first? Maybe start at the bar, do a little loop, and then end up back at the bar again. That's the best ghost hunting story right there.
Sounds good. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of ghost encounters to report after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on another trip, we'll go up to Tabaruzaka.
Sounds good.
But won't stop at a bar.
Yeah. Oh, won't stop at a bar. Well, then what's the point?
Yeah, great discussion today, Dan. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah.
All good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up, shall we? Thank you, everybody, for watching. The links are down there at the end of the comments if anyone's interested.
A couple of interesting reads, I think. Yeah, both of those. They're both interesting stories, I think. So, yeah, give them a read.
They're both the Musashi's on the Japan Times, yeah.
Right.
Okay, and the Amabie Nippon.com, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, great. I'm going to read the whole things for sure.
Yeah, there's actually there's one more that you might be especially interested. Oh, but actually, all of our readers might be interested in from the Gaijin Pot blog. You familiar with
I
Gaijin
know
Pot?
that.
Yeah.
I am. Mhm.
I can share that real quickly too. Here's the link.
Gaijin Pot. Yeah, great.
Gaijin
All right.
Pot.
Gaijin Pot blog. Okay.
Whoops. Gotta get the right. There it is. This is Gaijin Pot there. True ghost stories from Gaijin Pot readers. All right, so these are some readers
Oh, cool.
that actually wrote in with ghost stories.
Nice. Nice. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, I found a few things on the internet today too. But yeah. Okay, baseball boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Good. Yeah.
Some pictures in there too, but yeah. So yeah, this is something that some people might. The coworker who wasn't there. Yeah.
That's great. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff there. Anyway, yeah, check out the Gaijin Pot blog and especially the True Japan Ghost Stories. Yeah.
True Japan ghost stories. Yeah. Very good. Very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I found some actual ghost stories from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
If I could just put that up quickly. Yeah, ghost stories from Japan. These are kind of interesting too. Post-tsunami ghost stories. Yeah. It's an easy find, right? This is tctour.co.jp. Yeah, great.
Right.
The Old Hag's Pond, First Samurai Shrine. Yeah, these are all over Japan too, in northern Japan, around Tokyo, Shinjuku, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of information out there.
Yep.
Great.
This one, I'll just post. I won't even show you. People can look at it if they want to. But this is one called Ghosts of Japan. Oh wait.
Yeah. Okay.
There's and then this one, Ghosts of Japan. Well, it's taking its time coming up here.
This one yours? This one, not that one, right?
That's the ghost stories from Gaijin Pot, right? I forgot to finalize the link there, but now here you go. This one, the Ghosts of Japan. This website is it's well done. Yeah, you should take a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, great. We'll do. Yeah.
Yep. All right. I think we've done our due diligence here.
I think we have. We've covered the gamut of things. We've covered the whole base of ghost stories in Japan and ghosts and supernatural in Japan. Yeah.
That's right.
Great, Dan. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.